beautiful souls. I hope you're well. Today, my inner guidance is inviting me to share with you a little bit about the question of what happens when we are being triggered by a particular situation or a person's attitude or things like that, that happens continuously in our lives. And I wish to share a little bit of a tip that was kind of offered by my inner guidance. And hopefully I would like to share, but hopefully this can be of use to you as well. I don't know. Um, I will, just to illustrate, the little tip I'm trying to share with you, I will give you a a theoretical example. I'm going to say semi because part of it is, describes a little bit how I tend to act. But I say semi in the sense that I'm going to use theoretical person, just invented person, to give you an example or an idea of how things can be, managed in relationships, either at work or in family relationships or in friends or sometimes partners and things like that. So imagine, that, let's say because this is not a hypothetical, it's really me. Let's say I'm a person who tends to be very organized, very, because of a tendency to anxiety and a tendency to have kind of control over my environment. I will tend to be very organized and very always on time, and so on time that I'm often, most of the time, I'm 15 minutes in advance to my every one of my appointments. I'm a little bit, I wouldn't say OCD, but I'm a little bit perfectionist, in my way. I can be a little bit controlling when I tend to be, when I'm nervous or when I'm anxious about a situation I'm not in control of. I can be a little bit controlling, not like a control freak, but I can be like, okay, I'm going to super organize myself and micromanage myself and things. So it's not something I'm really like, honestly. It's something that I really find really super heavy, and I'm really trying to kind of let go of that, and with time, but it's a process, a deconstructive process, because I've kind of been doing that my whole life, and also because it was part of my childhood training in a way and things like that. But let's say I have, for example, theoretically, I have a sister, and my sister is absolutely the contrary. She's someone who is never on time, and she doesn't really care about, time and things like that. She doesn't like to plan things very, very much. She likes to take things the way they come. She's not necessarily on time, when we meet. And she, for example, what else could she be doing that could be annoying to me? She would be, she would not be present and not concentrate when I'm talking and when I'm saying something. So she would forget about the things I say, and then I would have to repeat them, and, or she, things like that. So obviously, when these two people are interacting together, it might not, but it might create some tensions. The sister might feel that, I'm a control freak and I'm annoying and I'm a total OCD, and I should really let go, and I should really, be a little bit more in the moment, in the flow, and let go of things. And I would be thinking that she really needs to organize herself because she's such a mess, and that, and she's never on time. She makes me wait, and she makes me repeat things, and, and I'm always the one who has to organize things because she's never going to do it, So obviously, when you start with these two kind of viewpoints or standpoints, obviously it's doomed to be problematic. Both of them are going to fight, and they're going to be like, they're all going to believe that they're right in their own way of doing things, and it's just going to bring a lot of chaos and a lot of friction. So what my guidance has proposed to me, or asked me, not asked me, but invited me to do instead, is when I'm in a situation where I would be confronted with such an attitude, like, for example, with that sister, I have two possibilities. Either I start to be more control freak and more insisting on how she should be doing things and how she's not responding to my expectations of being on time, organized, and whatever, whatever. Or I can decide that this is something that triggers me and that's my problem. Okay. So maybe I'm the one who has to work on something. Maybe my sister is there for me to show me that there is something there that I really need to work on, you know? Maybe I should let go a little bit. Maybe I should be more trustful of what the universe brings on an everyday basis at each moment rather than being in the past and future and planning and, being in fear and being controlling and then anxious. And maybe I need to really lower my expectations towards myself first, because people who tend to have high expectation towards others, usually because they have a lot of high expectations towards themselves. So again, I could be invited to lower my expectations towards myself and others. And then I could possibly think that it's if the other person is not doing things the way I do, that's not their problem. It's my situation. If I want to do things in a particular way, I'm allowed to do so, but I'm definitely not it would not be a good idea for me to expect that from others. So what I could do, and that's the invitation of my guidance and to share with you, is that I could, when I suddenly feel triggered, is to be it's to be an observer in situations. Let's say, I have an appointment with my sister and she's like an hour late. Okay. So my first instinct will be to be really pissed off at her and really, really be really angry. And when she's going to come around, either I'm going to be angry or I'm going to be super passive aggressive with sarcastic, mean, passive aggressive humor, which is not super cool. So what I could do when I'm still waiting for her and she hasn't come yet and she's an hour late and I'm starting to be super triggered inside of me, either I can start, bitching about and say, oh, how she's that and she's this, or I could just go within and ask myself, okay, why are you triggered by this? Why does this trigger you? Oh, because, and then my inner voice would be like, because I find this irrespectful. Someone who loves me and respects me would actually be on time, because this is the most disrespectful thing a person could do. She's not respecting my time, my schedule, my time, basically. Okay. And why is that such a problem? I mean, why can't you do something else while you're waiting? I could be doing something else while I'm waiting. It doesn't give me or her anything. It doesn't add anything for me to be just bitchy about it. So perhaps I could be doing something on my phone or prepare something for the next day, or I could go have a walk, or I could start meditating. I could go within and have a conversation with my higher self. I could read a book. I could start writing something, and that could be applied for absolutely every type of thing that could trigger me. If, for example, the person is not a person, let's say my sister again, she's not organized. She doesn't like to plan things, and I feel that I'm the one who always ends up to having to plan things. And then I'm going to think to myself, well, either I'm going to bitch about it again, or I could say, well, maybe I'm being a little bit too planning here. Maybe I need to just let go a little bit about that. Maybe we can also take things as they come. Maybe she's like that in front of me because it triggers me, but it gives me the opportunity to let go a little bit to things rather than being always planning everything to the micromanaging and planifying everything, micro planning everything, so it's always a question of perspective. And the more I'm going to resist and the more I'm going to be like, I don't like this, well, the more I'm going to have situation in my life where people are going to trigger me in that way. So it's my role. It's my responsibility to let go of that trigger, to go and face that trigger and see what does that mean to me. I don't need necessarily to say that to the person. I don't need to tell the person that, oh, you're late again, or, I could just go towards myself, go within and ask myself, why am I being triggered? Then I can ask myself, how could I perhaps let go of that triggering? How is this perhaps confronting me in my tendency to be a little bit too rigid, too controlling, too anxious, to perfectionist, whatever. And then after that, from there, always as an observer, I can start to let go a little bit of these things. And the more I will let go of them, the less I will have situations like that happening with my sister, where, I'm going to be less and less confronted by her, because I'm going to be able every time to be the observer and realize, I'm the one who is being triggered here. This is something I have to work on. And so in a way, life is well done, that I'm going to get less and less of these triggers and less and less of these situations, because life is going to just see that I'm adapting. I am learning from these lessons, and I'm learning to let go, and I'm learning to be more flexible and things like that. So this is just an idea. I tried to give you just a theoretical example, because this is the type of things that can happen to me, because I've had people in my lives in the past where I was a bit triggered, by the way they would just be either always late, or not organized, or not verifying their work, so they would make mistakes, and things like that, and it would go just trigger all the parts inside of me. And I realized that this is something, it's super important in order for us to have more fluid and pleasant relationships with the people around us, any type of relationships we have around us. And so I just, my guidance was inviting me to share that with you today, because it's something I'm often, I have to, especially presently in my work, I'm in a situation where I have to work with a team and everything. And it's always a good thing for me to be reminded of how I should try to be more flexible and less perfectionist, and just let go a little bit about things. So just wanted to share that with you. I hope this little invitation will be of use to you today as well. So I wish you a good day. I send you high vibes and invite you to be in your own vibrations, and to remain the observer of your life and of your reactions when you're triggered, because it's super, super helpful in order to let go and have more fluid and pleasant relationships. All right. Have a good day. Bye. All my gratitude for helping this channel bring positive vibes to more people.